Kelly and Ben had been married for 10 years. For the last 5 years of their marriage, Kelly unsuccessfully tried to get pregnant. But the doctors just kept throwing up their hands. And so when the couple gave up all attempts and stopped hoping for anything, the long-awaited pregnancy finally happened. And as is often the case, the dream came true at the most inopportune moment. Ben worked for a large international company and he had just been offered the position of head of an office in another country. When they found out about the pregnancy, Kelly flatly refused to fly to another country for fear of a miscarriage. Then they decided Ben will go to work and Kelly will stay with her mother until the baby is born. For the remaining 8 months, Ben flew in once a month for a few days. He talked about the apartment where they would live, about his success at work and how he missed his wife. Kelly's childbirth began unexpectedly. It turned out that the baby was intrauterine hypoxia and double cord entanglement. Doctors barely managed to resuscitate him. The next day, the pediatricians told Kelly that her baby's condition was stable and advised Kelly to prepare for a serious ordeal. A week later, the baby was transferred from the intensive care unit to the neonatal unit and Kelly was able to be with him. They spent another month in the hospital before they were finally discharged. And of course, the neurologist's diagnoses were disappointing. When they arrived home, Ben was home. Kelly named their son Michael. He looked at his son indifferently and Kelly could not understand why. When she sat down to breastfeed Michael, Ben whispered that it is not necessary to accustom the child to the breast and they should buy baby formula right away. To all of Kelly's objections that breastfeeding is better for the baby, Ben said that she should not get used to the baby, because he had already decided to give him to a special boarding school where specially trained staff know how to handle such children. Kelly was shocked by what she had heard and could not understand how he could betray her child and give him up. In the meantime, Ben continued to say that this child was incurably ill and would never be normal, but Kelly would be cured and they could have another healthy baby. In the meantime, Michael had had enough to eat, relaxed and fell asleep peacefully in Kelly's arms with an angelic expression on his face. Kelly tried to change Ben's mind, to get him to at least look at their sweet baby. She said that everything is not so hopeless, that there are good doctors, rehabilitation programs, and they will do everything possible. But Ben shouted indignantly that Kelly could not understand that he has a responsible position, and a child like Michael takes all the time away from his parents. His shouts made the baby wake up and start crying. Ben finally got angry and said that Kelly had to choose, or this little invalid, or their marriage, because he will not take him with them. The husband slammed the door and left. Her mother consoled Kelly by saying that it was probably just a first reaction. Because some men initially do not accept babies, and then they get used to it. But nothing has changed. Ben no longer threw tantrums, but he did not change his mind. He ended up leaving the country, and Kelly with her mother and little Michael were left alone. Ben never called again, but he regularly transferred alimony, which was completely spent on medical treatment. Kelly was grateful to her mother, who supported and helped her in everything. And without her, she would have surely despaired or gone crazy. Her mother accompanied her and Michael to clinics, looking for and finding neurology professors, wonderful massage therapists, who treated the boy. The son demonstrated such obvious progress that it gave the woman strength and enthusiasm to continue to fight. He was in a mild form and he was able to walk, talk and communicate, only his coordination of movements was slightly impaired. At this stage Kelly had the idea together with her friend Mary, who was also a fashion designer and a master in sewing outerwear, to open a workshop. At first, they sewed dresses and suits. And then they concentrated on wedding clothes, opened one of the first specialized ateliers in the city. Women bought high-quality fabrics and accessories and sewed exclusive fashionable outfits for brides and their bridesmaids. This work gave Kelly the opportunity to take care of her son and pay for his treatment. She took most of the orders in advance, and she could always plan her time. Over time, Mary and Kelly hired several more seamstresses. Mary bought herself a new house, and Kelly spent all her savings on medical treatment, physical therapy and massages for her son. It was only thanks to this, Michael went to a regular school, studied well and had simple pleasures, which most children with cerebral palsy unfortunately are deprived of. Ben never called them, never asked how they lived, he just disappeared from their lives. And frankly speaking, Kelly did not care what happened to her ex-husband. Her heart and hands were busy taking care of her son and her work. And then one day, when Michael was 15, Kelly met Andrew at a rehabilitation center for children with cerebral palsy. He brought his 10-year-old daughter Mia for a massage. Andrew's wife died shortly after giving birth, and he, like Kelly, fully devoted his life to his child. People say there are no chance meetings in life. Kelly and Andrew were like they were made for each other. And not just because they had sick children. They had common views on life. They loved the same music and books, the same dishes and smells. And the main thing, the most important thing in life for both Kelly and Andrew was family. Soon they got married and started living together. They sold their apartments and bought a spacious house outside the city, where they installed a special pool and exercise equipment for their children's daily workouts. Andrew's mother and Kelly's mother moved in with them. They became such good friends that they even worked 4 hands in the kitchen. A few years later, Michael graduated from the college and became a programmer. And Mia became dear to Kelly as her own daughter. She is still studying and dreams of becoming a fashion designer like Kelly.